The Ford Fusion is a reasonably priced sedan with reasonable performance figures all around. But will I be more than reasonably impressed by it? Let's find out. The front end shape is clearly derived from both Jaguar and Aston Martin, and that certainly proves that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. It wouldn't be a bad thing for Ford if a few people mistook it for either of those great automobiles. Overall, the look is a bit of luxury and plenty of smooth flowing lines that don't scream out to you, "Hey, look at me," but on the other hand, they look great from any angle. The Fusion is sort of like a girl you never paid attention to in high school, but realized you should have when you saw her on break from college. It's a nice look. I think the interior deserves praise as well, and I like the white stitching as well. That theme is continued on the armrest. Lift it up and you'll see you have space for your charger, also your USB input, smarter iPhone input, and plenty of deep storage. Moving forward, you get two cup holders. Here's your parking brake. This is stop-start button right here. Turn it on and the vehicle will stop at stoplights and save you fuel. Automatic transmission, but you can shift it manually here. Also put it in a sport mode. It's all powered by Microsoft Sync. That's the infotainment screen up here. It's not the My Ford Touch with the quadrant system, but this one is very straightforward. The buttons are all right there, easy to use. Presets over here. Of course, you can control the volume and that sort of thing down here with the normal controls. Also some Bluetooth control down there, and a very straightforward heating and ventilation system too. Here's the buttons for your heated seats. Just below, more storage that goes way back there, and you also get another charger too. It's a pleasing mix of materials, basically wood and chrome coming across the dash. Very nice. On the way to the steering wheel here, you've got controls for your cruise control here. Over here, Bluetooth and also radio. You get two menu screens right here. This one, when you press it, controls this screen on the dash. Gauges are very clear and straightforward. Basically, you can go into each menu and adjust it, or you can scroll up and see lots of different information. The buttons on this side control this menu right here for your infotainment screen. So it's really quite straightforward and easy to use. Excellent. Just to the left of the steering wheel, you can pop the trunk or control the lighting. On the door, you've got a cup holder and some storage. Power windows and door locks and mirrors here. I would like this to have a bottom for it, so maybe you can store your smarter iPhone there, but that's a small complaint, because overall I think it's a very nice interior. Great look and great features too. Out back you get your own ventilation controls and magazine holder too, and seating for 3 across. Pop this down for 2 cup holders and an armrest, plus you get an extra cup holder in the door. As an added bonus, you can go ahead and fold down the rear seats for extra room. That's a great feature. Of course, this being a large sedan, you'll find plenty of room in the trunk, even with the seats up. Powering the Fusion is an EcoBoost 2.5-liter inline 4-cylinder that makes 175 horsepower and 175 pound-feet of torque. 0 to 60 takes 8.3 seconds on the way to a top speed of 122 miles per hour. Fuel economy is rated at 25 miles per gallon in the city and 37 miles per gallon on the highway. You can expect 29 miles per gallon overall. The Ford Fusion starts out at just under $24,000. It's got $3,130 worth of options, which include Equipment Group 202A, which is the luxury package. It's got heated front seats. You also get the optional equipment package that includes reverse sensing system, start-stop, which basically improves your fuel economy by shutting off the engine. You also get rear inflatable seat belts, so with all that, you're out the dealer door at just under $28,000. Competition comes from the likes of the Nissan Altima, Volkswagen Passat, Honda Accord, and the Mazda 6. All worthy competitors, but the Ford stands out for being American, of course, but also, I think, a bit more comfortable in the traditional sense, with a compliant, cushioned ride and very soft seats. It also stands out in that the more entry-level models don't feel as entry-level, and the luxury models, the higher-end models like the Titanium, I think they're very nice and actually feel like they should cost maybe a bit more. Now you don't get a backup camera, but you do get these helpful parking sensors. Got the cruise control set on 63 miles an hour, and it's got a very nice setting to lower it or raise it. Just a lot of thought went into every button. It really is a great fusion of engineering, process, thought, and design. Big dip there, but Ford really just sucked it up. Very comfortable and cushy ride, especially by today's standards. In terms of gearing and handling and merging onto crowded highways, you've really got all the power you need. It's surprisingly peppy because Ford's engineers have really thought about the gearing. When you're entering a highway, you want immediate power for passing. And believe it or not, Fusion has it. You get a surprising amount of engine noise. Even though this is not a sports sedan, it does handle very predictably, and the suspension feels more than adequate for the amount of power that it can produce. Miserable traffic jam. But you know what? The Ford Fusion is comfortable. It's got a great sound system. It's got great cooling, ventilation, heating. It's got heated seats. So it's actually extremely comfortable. Even the way you fine-tune the climate control is really, really nice. On top of that, it also gets a 5-star safety rating too. Checking out the night look. And it looks great. The light blue shows up well. It's a good mash of colors. Now this is a nicely equipped Ford Fusion SC, and it does have a lot of luxury built in. It also has a great layout. Everything falls easily to hand. I like the way the dash is laid out. Everything really. It's just a very nice and comfortable car. And speaking of comfort, I think that's one thing that really sets the Ford Fusion apart. I recently drove the Ford Fusion Hybrid and felt the same way. It's got very cushy seats, and it's more of a cushy ride, I think, than many cars today. Kind of reminds me of an older luxury car like a Cadillac with its softer ride. But of course, it's more modern. It's not as soft as those cars from the 70s and 80s. But when you compare it to other modern cars like Toyota, Hyundai, Mazda, Kia, Nissan, this one really is more comfortable. And I think on long trips, that's exactly what you want. It's got a very comfortable seating position. Even the steering wheel is nicely padded. Now, as I said, the Ford Fusion is very fairly priced. This one, the SE version. I recently drove the SE version of the Ford Fusion Hybrid, and I have to say that that one gets a lot more MPGs, of course. But it basically starts at the same price that this one comes fully equipped, so it is a lot more money. You can do a spreadsheet and figure out whether the fuel economy savings are worth it for you. But this one does have the start-stop technology, and it does average 29 miles per gallon overall, which is good for a sedan of this size. So in the end, I think the Ford Fusion really stands out in terms of comfort. I also think it stands out for value, and I think it's more than reasonably impressive. I'm very impressed with it. So if you haven't driven a Ford lately, I think you should. I'm Drivin Ivan Katz.